Welcome to Limitless Success TV. Today, I want to share a truth that could completely change the way you think about building wealth. You see, many of us believe that wealth is something reserved only for those with a high income. It's easy to think that unless you're earning a fortune, there's no way to build wealth. But I'm here to tell you something that might surprise you. Building wealth isn't about how much you make, it's about how you manage what you've got. It's all about your mindset, your habits, and your discipline. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, a higher income can certainly make things easier. It might allow you to put more aside, invest more, or enjoy a higher standard of living. But the real secret to wealth lies in your ability to manage your finances effectively. No matter how much or how little you earn, the wealthiest people on the planet didn't get there just by earning a lot. They got there by making smart financial decisions, sticking to healthy money habits, and having the discipline to save and invest. Even when times were tough. I understand how overwhelming it can feel when your income doesn't seem to match up with your financial goals. It's easy to get discouraged and feel like building wealth is out of your reach. But let me tell you this, it is absolutely possible to build significant wealth, even with a low income. And I'm going to show you how. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the essential steps that will help you start building wealth. No matter how tight your budget may seem, the good news is, it's not about the size of your paycheck, it's about what you do with it. How you spend, save, and invest will determine your financial future. Throughout this video, you'll discover practical strategies that anyone can apply. You don't need a six-figure salary to become wealthy. You need a strong mindset, a plan, and the consistency to stick to it. I'll share valuable lessons and insights, many of them learned through my own journey, so you can start making better choices with your money today. I know it might sound too good to be true, but the truth is that wealth can grow from even the smallest of beginnings. The key is consistency. You don't need to start big, and you definitely don't need to be perfect. What you need is the determination to keep going, step by step. It's like planting seeds for a tree that will bear fruit in the years to come. Every action you take today, no matter how small, will lead to bigger rewards later on. If you're currently on a tight budget, I know that it may feel like you're stuck in a never-ending cycle of bills, expenses, and limited options. But here's the thing. You don't need to wait until you're making more money to start. In fact, the sooner you begin, the better off you'll be in the long run. Every small step you take now will make a huge difference later. In just a few moments, we'll dive deep into how you can shift your mindset from one of scarcity to abundance. We'll talk about how to start budgeting effectively, pay yourself first, and begin investing, even on a tight budget. It's all about making the right choices with the resources you have today, and using those choices to build momentum toward a more prosperous future. But before we get into all that, let me ask you, have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work or how much you earn, your finances just never seem to improve? It's frustrating, isn't it? You can be making all the right moves, but if you're not managing your money properly, it can feel like you're stuck. The truth is, it's not about how much you make, it's about how well you use what you have. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. What I'll share today is not some magic formula or get-rich-quick scheme. It's a step-by-step approach to building wealth, one decision at a time. Whether you're just starting out on your financial journey or you've been trying to grow your wealth for years, these principles will work for you. It's about building the right habits, thinking differently about your finances, and taking intentional action every day. Are you ready to start building your financial future, even on a tight budget? Stick with me for the next few minutes, because by the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of how you can start taking control of your finances and building wealth, no matter where you're starting from. So let's dive in. I promise, if you follow these steps and stay committed to your financial growth, you'll be amazed at the progress you can make. Let's begin building your path to financial freedom right now. 1. Shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Shifting your mindset is absolutely the first and most powerful step toward building wealth. I can't emphasize this enough. How you think about money will determine whether you reach your financial goals or not. For many, it's easy to feel stuck in a place of scarcity. You look at your bank account, see your expenses piling up, and wonder how anyone ever makes it out of the financial struggle. But I'm here to tell you that this mindset will hold you back. If you want to truly build wealth, you need to shift from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of abundance. When you're operating from scarcity, everything feels like a challenge. You feel like you're constantly running out of money. And no matter how hard you try, there's just never enough. That feeling of not having enough can paralyze you. And you start making decisions based on fear. Fear of not having enough for tomorrow. Fear of missing out on opportunities. And fear that things will never get better. I've been there myself. I've gone through times when I didn't know how I would make it. When every bill felt like a mountain. And I've seen others in similar situations, stuck in that constant cycle of worry. But here's the thing. This mindset of scarcity isn't helping you at all. In fact, it's hurting you. It keeps you focused on what you don't have, which blinds you to the opportunities that are right in front of you. Here's the shift I'm talking about. Believing that your situation can change and that every dollar you earn has the potential to grow. It's not about being delusional or pretending everything's perfect. It's about having the belief that you can take control and make your money work for you. Even if it's just a little at a time. This shift in thinking is the key that unlocks everything else in your wealth building journey. It's what separates the people who stay stuck from the ones who succeed. Think of it like this. No matter how much you earn, every dollar counts. It might seem small at first, saving $5, $10, or even $50 a month, but that money can grow. It compounds over time, and the more consistently you add to it, the larger it gets. But the key to making that money grow is having the right mindset. Instead of thinking, this is all I have, and I'll never be able to save enough, shift your thinking to, this is what I have now, and I can make it work. Let me give you a real-world example. A few years ago, I was speaking with a friend who was struggling with his finances. He had a modest income, and like many people, he felt that he could never build wealth. He had bills, debt, and wasn't sure where to start. But he made one simple decision that changed everything. He decided to pay himself first. Every month, no matter how small the amount, he put aside a portion of his income into savings. At first, it was only $50, but he did it consistently. Over time, that $50 grew. Eventually, he started investing a little bit, and then more as his savings built up. Today, he's in a much better financial position than he was before. He didn't start with a large sum. He started with a mindset that he could make it work. No matter what. The beauty of this mindset shift is that once you start focusing on what you can control, you begin to see opportunities everywhere. Maybe you've been walking past opportunities to make extra income or ways to save more money without realizing it. When you have an abundance mindset, you start thinking creatively. You might look for ways to downsize your living expenses, ask for a raise at work, or start a side hustle. The possibilities become endless when you start to believe that you can create change. One thing I've learned is that opportunities won't come knocking if you don't believe they're possible. Take a moment to think about it. When you're stuck in a scarcity mindset, you often feel like you're at the mercy of your circumstances. But when you have an abundance mindset, you believe that you can take action, that your efforts will make a difference, and that you are worthy of financial success. It's that belief that opens up new doors for you, whether it's finding creative ways to save, investing small amounts, or even exploring new income streams. For example, let's say you have a passion or a skill you haven't fully tapped into yet. With the right mindset, you might realize that this is your opportunity to build something that generates extra income. Maybe you love cooking, and you start a small catering business on the side. Or maybe you're good at graphic design and you offer freelance services. Every dollar earned from that side hustle is one step closer to your wealth goals. And each step compounds into something bigger. The point is, you don't need to wait for everything to be perfect. You don't need to wait for a raise, a windfall, or the right moment to start building wealth. Start with what you have. Start small, but start now. A little goes a long way. And the sooner you begin, the sooner you'll start seeing the results of your efforts. So, I encourage you to make this shift in your mindset today. Believe that your situation can change. Start with the small amounts of money you have and put them to work. Save, invest, and grow them over time. And always remember, every small step you take today is one step closer to the wealth you want to build. It's not about how much you have right now. It's about how much you can make that money work for you in the future. The power is in your hands. 2. Creating a budget that works. Creating a budget that works for you is one of the most important steps you can take on your journey to financial success. Now, I know the word budget might sound boring or restrictive to some people. But trust me, when you view your budget as your financial blueprint, it becomes much more than just a list of expenses. It becomes your roadmap to wealth. It's not about limiting your freedom. It's about empowering you to make intentional decisions that align with your long-term financial goals. When I first started managing my money, I didn't really understand the true power of a budget. I knew I needed to track my spending, but I didn't really know where to start or what to look for. It wasn't until I began tracking my income and expenses carefully that I realized just how much money was slipping through the cracks. And that's exactly why creating a budget is so crucial. You can't make informed financial decisions if you don't know where your money is going. The first step in creating a budget that works is to track everything. I mean, everything. Write down, or use an app to keep track of every dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out. You might be surprised at what you find. For example, I once worked with a client who thought they were living frugally. But after tracking their spending for a month, they realized they were spending nearly $300 a month on coffee and takeout. While it might seem like small amounts here and there, it added up to a substantial sum over time. Once they recognized this, they started making small changes, like brewing coffee at home and limiting takeout to once a week. It's not about being cheap, it's about being smart with your money. By cutting back on these non-essential expenses, they were able to redirect that money towards savings and investments. Once you have a clear picture of where your money is going, the next step is to identify areas where you can cut back. This is where most people get hung up. We all have that one area where we feel like we deserve to spend. Like dining out or subscriptions to things we barely use. But let me ask you, does buying that extra cup of coffee every day really bring you closer to your financial goals? Or does it just feel good in the moment? I'm not saying you should deprive yourself of things you enjoy, but when you start viewing your spending through the lens of your larger goals, it becomes easier to make those cuts. For example, instead of eating out 3 times a week, what if you cooked more meals at home? That simple shift could save you hundreds of dollars every month, and those savings can go into an emergency fund. Or better yet, into investments that will pay you back over time. Another common place where people overspend is subscriptions. We've all been there, signing up for a streaming service or magazine subscription, and then forgetting about it until we notice the charge on our credit card bill a few months later. Take a close look at your subscriptions. Are you really using all of them? If you're not, cancel them. It's easy money back in your pocket that can be better used elsewhere. Once you've trimmed the fat, it's time to focus on saving. I can't stress this enough. Saving should be a priority, not an afterthought. Start by aiming to save at least 10 to 20% of your income. Yes, I know that might sound like a stretch, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck. But here's the thing, start small. If you can't afford 10% right now, start with what you can. Even $50 a month is better than nothing. The key is to make it a habit, and to set up a system that makes saving automatic. For example, set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings account as soon as you get paid. That way, you don't have to think about it, and you won't be tempted to spend it. I've seen countless examples of people who have made small savings contributions consistently over time and watched their wealth grow. One of my clients, for instance, started saving just $100 a month when they were getting out of debt. At first, they felt like it wasn't enough to make a difference. But over the course of a few years, that $100 a month turned into thousands of dollars, and they were able to start investing. The key is that they stayed consistent and trusted the process. And remember, it's not about how much you save initially, it's about making saving a part of your routine. Over time, as you get better at budgeting and your income increases, you can increase your savings percentage. But don't wait for the perfect moment to start saving. Because there will never be a perfect moment. Start today with what you can afford, and as your financial situation improves, continue to adjust your budget accordingly. Now, let's talk about investments. The beauty of having a solid budget is that you can redirect the money you've saved into investments that will work for you. Even if you're starting small, investing regularly can have a huge impact on your financial future. You don't need a huge lump sum to start investing. Even if you're only putting aside $50 or $100 a month, you're still making progress. Over time, compound interest will help your investments grow. I can tell you from personal experience that investing early even in small amounts, is one of the smartest decisions you can make. The key to building wealth isn't just saving, it's about making your money work for you. So, once you've freed up some money through your budget, look into low-cost, diversified investment options like index funds or ETFs. These are accessible to anyone, and they provide exposure to the market without needing a ton of money up front. In conclusion, creating a budget that works is about more than just cutting costs, it's about prioritizing your future. By tracking your income and expenses, identifying areas to cut back, saving consistently, and investing wisely, you're building a strong foundation for your financial future. It might take time, but the results are worth it. The small changes you make today will pay off down the road. And soon, you'll be on your way to achieving the wealth you've always dreamed of. 3. Pay yourself first. The key to wealth. Paying yourself first is one of the most powerful strategies for building wealth. And yet, it's one that many people overlook. It might sound counterintuitive at first, after all. The bills and expenses can seem like they need to take priority. But trust me, paying yourself first is not just a nice idea. It's a crucial habit that can transform your financial future. When I first learned about paying myself first, it was a game changer. The idea is simple. Treat your savings as a non-negotiable expense. Just like rent or utilities, every time you get paid, you automatically set aside a portion of your income for savings or investments before spending on anything else. This approach forces you to prioritize your financial future, and it helps you build a sense of discipline and control over your money. The beauty of this habit is that it doesn't require a huge amount of money to start. You don't need to wait until you have extra cash or a higher income to begin. Even if you're only able to set aside a small amount each time you get paid. The key is consistency. For example, when I first started, I only saved $50 a month. It wasn't much, but it was something. Over time, that small habit turned into a larger sum, and it became easier to increase the amount as I saw the power of compounding interest and the benefits of consistently saving. One thing that really helped me stay consistent with this habit was automating the process. Setting up automatic transfers from my checking account to my savings or investment account. As soon as I received my paycheck, took the decision-making out of the equation. I didn't have to remember to transfer the money, and I couldn't accidentally spend it before it was set aside. Automation is a great way to ensure that you always pay yourself first. No matter what, when you pay yourself first, you shift the focus from, "I'll save whatever is left over," to, "I'll save before I spend." This small shift in perspective is what helps build wealth. The problem with saving whatever is left over is that, more often than not, there is nothing left over. Life happens, unexpected expenses come up, and before you know it, your paycheck is gone. By paying yourself first, you are intentionally putting your financial future ahead of your immediate wants and desires. Let's say, for example, that you receive $1 every month. If you're paying yourself first and setting aside 10%, that's $100 that goes straight into savings or investments before you spend a dime on anything else. Over time, that $100 adds up. It may seem small at first, but with the right investments, that money will grow, and the habit will snowball. If you continue to increase the percentage as your income grows, you'll soon be saving hundreds, if not thousands, each month. Another powerful aspect of this habit is that it helps you develop financial discipline. By prioritizing savings from the start, you are teaching yourself to live within your means and not spend more than what you can afford. This discipline extends to other areas of your finances, like avoiding unnecessary debt or making smarter spending decisions. It becomes a mindset that drives your financial behavior, and that mindset will be your key to long-term wealth. I've seen this principle work time and time again in my own life and the lives of many others. One of my clients, a single mother on a modest income, started paying herself first by setting aside just $50 per paycheck. She used that money to build an emergency fund, and after a few months, she was able to start investing. Over time, her small savings grew, and she began seeing the power of compound interest. That initial $50 became thousands of dollars, and it allowed her to make better financial decisions. Today, she has multiple streams of income and is on track to achieve financial independence. The point here is that paying yourself first isn't just about saving money. It's about creating a habit that builds wealth over time. It forces you to treat your financial future as a priority, rather than something that's always pushed to the back burner. It's about building momentum and getting your money to work for you, instead of the other way around. So, no matter where you are in your financial journey, start paying yourself first. It doesn't matter if you can only afford to save a small amount at first. What matters is that you start. That habit will lay the foundation for long-term financial success. And over time, you'll see the results of your efforts. Start today. And remember, every dollar you save is a step closer to your financial freedom. 4. Leverage low-cost resources. Even with limited funds, you can still take full advantage of a range of free or low-cost resources that can help you grow your wealth. One of the best things about the current financial landscape is the accessibility of tools and platforms that allow even those on a tight budget to start investing and saving. You don't need thousands of dollars to start building wealth. What you need is the knowledge to leverage what's available to you, and the discipline to make consistent use of it. Take high-yield savings accounts. For example, many banks offer savings accounts that provide higher interest rates than traditional savings accounts. And the best part is that they're usually easy to set up and require very little to get started, even if you're only able to deposit $50 or $100 at a time. It's a great way to make your money work for you. I've personally used high-yield savings accounts as a stepping stone to build an emergency fund. And over time, I've watched that money grow. The interest earned may seem small at first, but with time and consistent deposits, the power of compound interest kicks in, and those small contributions can add up significantly. If you start early and stay consistent, you'll see the impact over the long term. I remember when I first got serious about saving and investing, I started with a micro-investing app. These apps allow you to invest small amounts of money, sometimes even rounding up your spare change from everyday purchases and putting it into an investment account. It's an easy way to get started. And while the amounts you're investing may seem small at first, the key is that it's consistent. By investing even $5 or $10 a week, you can start to accumulate wealth over time. The key takeaway here is that you don't need large sums of money to begin. The small contributions you make can grow and multiply, especially if you stay consistent and take advantage of compounding interest. Another great way to leverage low-cost resources is by contributing to retirement plans offered by your employer, like a 401k. Now, you might be thinking, I'm not ready to think about retirement just yet. But hear me out. The beauty of retirement accounts like 401ks is that many employers offer a match for your contributions. If your employer offers a matching contribution, it's essentially free money that you don't want to leave on the table. This can be one of the easiest ways to start building wealth because it doesn't require you to do anything extra. For example, if your employer matches 50% of your contributions up to a certain amount, every dollar you contribute is effectively worth more. If you contribute $100 to your 401k, your employer will add an additional $50. That's a 50% return on your investment, without you having to do anything. I've worked with clients who, early in their careers, didn't take full advantage of their employer's 401k match, simply because they didn't understand the importance of it. When they started contributing, they quickly saw the difference. The key is to contribute enough to get the full match. Don't leave that free money behind. The power of compound interest in a retirement account can set you on the path to financial independence, even if you start with small contributions. These strategies, high-yield savings accounts, micro-investing apps, and employer-sponsored retirement plans, are perfect examples of how you can start building wealth with minimal upfront investment. By using these resources, you are making smart financial decisions that will pay off over time. The most important thing is to start now. Even if you can only contribute small amounts, over time, those small contributions will grow, and you'll be building a solid foundation for your financial future. When I first started using these low-cost resources, I didn't have a lot of money to invest, but I was determined to make the most of what I had. I opened a high-yield savings account and set up automatic transfers, even if it was only $25 a month. Over time, I watched that money grow. I also started using a micro-investing app to round up my purchases and invest the change. And I made sure to contribute enough to my 401k to get the full employer match. While these steps might have seemed small at first, they set the stage for greater financial success. They taught me the value of consistency and helped me build wealth over time. So, if you're starting with limited funds, don't feel discouraged. There are plenty of low-cost resources available that can help you start building wealth today. By using high-yield savings accounts, micro-investing apps, and employer-sponsored retirement plans, you can start making your money work for you, one small step at a time. The key is to take action, stay consistent, and take advantage of the resources at your disposal. With time and persistence, your financial future will be much brighter. 5. Eliminating debt. A must-do. Eliminating debt is, without a doubt, one of the most crucial steps in your journey to building wealth. Debt, especially high-interest debt like credit cards, can be an enormous weight on your financial future. It drains your resources, prevents you from saving or investing, and keeps you stuck in a cycle of financial stress. If you're serious about building wealth, especially on a low income, tackling and eliminating your debt should be a priority. But how do you approach it when the mountain of debt seems too steep to climb? The good news is that there are proven strategies to help you eliminate debt faster and more efficiently. One of the first strategies I recommend is the debt snowball method. This is a simple but powerful approach that can give you a sense of control and momentum. The idea behind the debt snowball method is to focus on paying off your smallest debt first. Once that debt is eliminated, you move on to the next smallest debt, and so on. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, starting small, but gaining momentum as it moves forward. The key to this method is the quick wins it provides. When you pay off a smaller debt, it feels like a victory, and that sense of accomplishment can keep you motivated to tackle the next one. For example, let's say you have 3 debts, one for $500, another for $2, and another for $5. Using the snowball method, you'd focus on paying off the $500 debt first, even though the other debts have higher balances. Once that smaller debt is gone, you can take the money you were paying toward it and apply it to the next debt on the list. This approach gives you the psychological boost of checking off those smaller debts, and it helps you build momentum to tackle the bigger ones. On the other hand, there's the debt avalanche method, which is more focused on saving you money in the long run. The idea here is to target your highest interest debt first. This strategy doesn't give you the same immediate psychological wins as the debt snowball, but it's more cost-effective over time because you're tackling the debt that's costing you the most in interest. If you have a credit card with a 20% interest rate and a student loan with a 5% interest rate, the avalanche method would have you focus on paying off the credit card debt first, saving you more money in the long term. For instance, imagine you have the same $500, $2, and $5 debts, but the $500 debt is on a credit card with a 25% interest rate, while the other 2 debts have much lower rates. With the debt avalanche, you'd prioritize that $500 credit card debt because it's costing you the most in interest. While it might not feel as rewarding as knocking out a smaller debt first, it will save you money in the long run, which is ultimately what matters when you're working on building wealth. Both strategies have their merits, and the one that works best for you depends on your personal preferences and goals. The debt snowball is great if you need a quick emotional boost to stay motivated, while the debt avalanche is perfect if you're focused on saving as much money as possible over time. But the key thing here is action. Whether you choose the snowball or the avalanche method, the most important thing is to start paying down your debt as quickly as you can. Once you've made significant progress on paying off your debts, there's another critical step: redirecting the money you were using to pay off debt into savings and investments. When you were paying down debt, you were already setting aside a portion of your income towards something. So once the debt is gone, you need to redirect that money into building your wealth. For example, if you were paying $200 a month toward credit card debt, once that debt is paid off, take that $200 and start putting it into a high-yield savings account or investment fund. By doing this, you accelerate your wealth-building journey, and that momentum you built while eliminating debt continues to carry you forward. In my own life, eliminating debt was the first step toward creating financial freedom. I remember when I was buried under a mountain of credit card bills and loans. It felt overwhelming, and there were times when I didn't know how I was going to dig myself out. But once I committed to eliminating the debt using the debt snowball method, I started to see real progress. The feeling of crossing off each debt from my list was incredible. And it gave me the confidence to tackle bigger goals. And the moment I was free from that debt, I was able to redirect that money into investments that paid off over time. The key to all of this is consistency. Whether you're paying off debt or investing, it's the small, consistent steps that lead to big results. Eliminating debt is one of the most powerful ways to build wealth. And once that burden is lifted, you'll have more freedom and resources to focus on growing your money. So, take action today. Start by choosing the strategy that works best for you, snowball or avalanche, and make that first payment. Every dollar you put toward eliminating debt brings you one step closer to financial freedom. 6. Boost your income. While cutting expenses is crucial when you're working to build wealth, the real game changer often lies in increasing your income. If you're looking to accelerate your wealth-building journey, boosting your earning potential is essential. Having more income gives you more room to save, invest, and ultimately build the wealth you desire. But how do you increase your income when you're already working hard and managing a busy life? The truth is, there are many opportunities out there, and often, it's just about being proactive and looking for ways to capitalize on them. The first step to boosting your income is to look for opportunities within your current job. This might mean asking for a raise or negotiating your salary. Many people overlook the power of negotiating their pay, but it can make a huge difference. When I first started in my career, I didn't think to ask for more. But over time, I realized that if I didn't advocate for myself, no one else would. I got more confident in speaking with my managers about my value to the company. And each time I asked for a raise, I found that the worst they could do was say no. And when they said yes, it opened up more financial freedom to save and invest. Another way to boost your income is by taking on a second job or side hustle. This doesn't necessarily mean taking on a full-time job outside of your current one. It could be something you do on the side, in your spare time, that allows you to earn extra money. A side hustle can range from anything, a weekend gig like dog walking, freelancing your skills, or even driving for a rideshare service. I know many people who started side businesses like online stores, social media consulting, or offering photography services. These side hustles, even when done part-time, can bring in substantial extra income. And the beauty of it is that it doesn't require a huge initial investment. It's just about using your time wisely to leverage what you already know or love to do. Learning new skills is another powerful way to boost your income. As technology and industries continue to evolve, there are always new skills in demand. Whether it's taking an online course, earning a certification, or learning a trade, investing in yourself pays off in the long run. For instance, many people in their 20s and 30s have increased their income by learning how to code or by getting certified in fields like digital marketing or graphic design. These skills allow them to command higher-paying jobs or freelance opportunities. Even if you start with a small investment of time and money to learn a new skill, the potential return can be massive. I have a friend who invested in a digital marketing certification program, and within a few months, he was able to land a freelance client that paid him 5 times more than his previous job. The key is to recognize that education, especially in today's world, is often the fastest way to increase your income. Of course, there's no shortage of opportunities in the world of online income generation. If you're able to dedicate some time and effort, starting an online business or building a personal brand can be incredibly profitable. From blogging to affiliate marketing, e-commerce, or even creating an online course, the internet offers endless opportunities to make money from home. Many people start small, working on their online business after hours, and eventually, it turns into a full-time income stream. The beauty of online income is that it often requires a very low startup cost. And once your platform is established, the scalability is immense. Even small increases in your income can make a significant difference when combined with disciplined saving and investing. For example, let's say you earn an extra $100 a month from a side hustle or a pay raise. At first glance, that may not seem like much, but the impact over time is powerful. If you invest that $100 each month and earn an average return of 7% annually, in 10 years, you could accumulate over $15. That's the power of compounding. Small, consistent investments over time can grow significantly, even if you're starting with modest amounts. This is a mindset shift that I've adopted myself. Focus on consistent, incremental growth, rather than looking for huge leaps in income or returns. Concentrate on what you can control right now and make steady improvements. Whether it's getting a small raise, learning a new skill, or dedicating a few hours each week to a side hustle, these small actions add up over time. It's not about making one big breakthrough, it's about continually moving forward, step by step. Another point I want to stress is that your current job or income level doesn't define your future. I've worked with so many people who thought they were stuck at a particular income level, only to discover that with some creative thinking and a willingness to take on extra work or learn new skills, they could increase their income beyond what they thought was possible. Every small increase in your income is an opportunity to save and invest more, which in turn accelerates your path to financial independence. So, start with what you have, and don't worry about making huge investments or big career moves all at once. Focus on making steady, manageable improvements, and watch how your income grows over time. The more you earn, the more room you have to save and invest, and the faster you'll build the wealth you desire. 7. Investing, a cornerstone of wealth building. Let's talk about investing, because this is truly the cornerstone of building wealth. One of the biggest myths people believe is that you need a lot of money to start investing. But the truth is, you don't need a huge lump sum to get started. What you need is the right mindset and the willingness to take small steps toward your financial future. Many people think investing is only for the wealthy or for those with years of experience. But in reality, it's an accessible and powerful way for anyone to build wealth, no matter where you are in your financial journey. When I first started investing, I was intimidated by the idea of putting money into the stock market. I thought it was too complex and that you needed a lot of money to make it worth your while. But I soon realized that investing doesn't have to be complicated, and it certainly doesn't require a fortune to begin. The key is to start small and be consistent over time. The earlier you start, the better, because investing allows your money to grow through the magic of compound interest. One of the easiest ways to start investing is through low-cost, diversified options like index funds or exchange-traded funds, ETFs. These funds pool together money from many investors to buy a wide variety of stocks, bonds, or other assets, which means that you're spreading your risk across many different investments. Index funds and ETFs are incredibly accessible for beginners because they don't require a lot of money to get started, and they are easy to manage. They're often a great way to start building a portfolio without having to pick individual stocks, which can be risky and time-consuming. For example, when I first started, I began investing in an index fund that tracks the S&P 500. This fund includes the top 500 companies in the US, so by investing in it, I was automatically diversifying my investment across a large number of businesses, which helps reduce risk. I started with small contributions, just $50 here and there, but I kept at it. Over time, I saw those small amounts grow, and I began to understand the power of consistency and long-term investing. The key takeaway is that you don't need to make big moves up front. It's the consistency that counts. As the years go by, those small contributions compound, and that's when the magic starts happening. Another option that has been a game-changer for many people is using robo-advisors. If you're unsure where to start or you don't feel comfortable managing your investments yourself, robo-advisors can help automate the process. These platforms use algorithms to manage your portfolio based on your risk tolerance and financial goals. They're simple to use and provide an affordable way to get started with investing. I remember when I first heard about robo-advisors, I was skeptical, but after doing some research and trying them out, I realized they're a great way for beginners to get into investing without feeling overwhelmed. Whether you're investing for retirement, saving for a big purchase, or just looking to grow your wealth, robo-advisors can tailor a strategy for you. One of the biggest things I want to stress here is the importance of consistency. The amount you invest at first doesn't matter nearly as much as the habit of investing regularly. It's easy to get caught up in thinking that you need a large amount of money to start seeing real returns. But that's simply not true. The key is to get started, no matter how small, and keep contributing over time. Think of it like planting seeds. You won't see a tree grow overnight, but with consistent care, those seeds will grow into something substantial over time. For example, let's say you invest $100 a month in an index fund. While it might seem like a small amount at first, If you keep investing regularly, that $100 can grow into thousands of dollars over time. Thanks to compounding, if you earn an average annual return of 7%, that initial $100 monthly contribution could grow into over $70 in 30 years. The key is time. The earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow. Another benefit of investing in these diversified, low-cost funds is that they are generally low maintenance. You don't need to constantly monitor the market or worry about picking the next hot stock. Instead, you can make your contributions and let the investment grow over time. The power of long-term investing is that it allows you to ride out market fluctuations and benefit from the overall upward trajectory of the economy. I've seen many people start small, even with just $50 or $100 per month. And over time, they've built substantial portfolios. The key is to be consistent. Avoid trying to time the market, and stay committed to your long-term goals. It's not about making huge investments up front, it's about starting where you are. Making regular contributions, and allowing time and compound interest to work in your favor. So, if you're unsure where to start, I encourage you to begin with a low-cost, diversified investment option like an index fund or ETF. You don't need to be an expert to start investing, and you don't need a large amount of money to get started. Just begin, and be consistent. Over time, your investments will grow, and you'll be on your way to building the wealth you deserve. As we come to the end of this video, I want to leave you with a few key lessons that you can carry forward on your journey to building wealth. First, let's remember that building wealth on a low income takes time. It's not a get-rich-quick situation. There will be challenges, there will be setbacks, and it might feel discouraging at times. But that's part of the process. Every successful person has faced these obstacles. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is persistence and patience. If you stay focused on your long-term goals and consistently celebrate the small victories along the way, you'll stay motivated even when things get tough. Wealth isn't about how much you make, it's about how much you keep, how much you grow, and how much you give back. This is such an important mindset shift because it takes the pressure off feeling like you need a high income to start building wealth. It's not about the paycheck size, it's about making smart decisions with what you've got. Saving consistently, and investing wisely. The habits you develop today will shape your financial future tomorrow. So stay disciplined, stay consistent, and let the power of patience work for you. Now, I know it might sound like a lot of work. And it's true, building wealth requires effort. But it's the kind of effort that pays off in the long run. And the great thing is, you don't need to wait for everything to be perfect before you start. In fact, starting now is one of the most important things you can do for your future. You don't need to wait until you have more money, more time, or more knowledge. All you need to do is start. Here's a simple tip: start today. It doesn't matter how small the step is, as long as you're taking action. Open a savings account, set up an automatic transfer for $5, $10, or whatever you can afford right now. The key is to start saving, no matter how little. Trust me, every little bit adds up over time, and you'll start to see your savings grow. Track your spending, find ways to cut back on unnecessary expenses, and then take the money you save and invest it. It could be something as simple as researching low-cost investment options, such as index funds or ETFs, and starting with the smallest contribution. The important thing is to take that first step today. You don't need a big paycheck to begin investing. You don't need to be a financial expert. What you need is a willingness to take small, consistent actions toward building your financial future. And when you do this, you'll begin to see results. Over time, your small contributions will compound, your debt will shrink, and you'll build a foundation for long-term wealth and financial freedom. I want to remind you that wealth is not reserved for the wealthy. It's available to anyone who is willing to put in the work and stay disciplined. Whether you're starting with a low income or a modest savings account, the principles I've shared in this video can help you build a secure and prosperous future. All it takes is managing your money wisely, staying consistent with your investments, and trusting the process. The road may seem long, but with patience and persistence, you'll get there. As you go forward, I encourage you to take that first step today. Start saving, start investing, and most importantly, start believing that you can build the life you want, no matter where you're starting from. Every small step you take brings you closer to your goal of financial freedom. You have everything it takes to succeed. Now it's up to you to take action and make it happen. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I hope the insights and strategies I've shared with you today inspire you to take the next step in your wealth building journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment about what action you're going to take today to build your financial future. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and trust the process. You got this.